Hello, everyone. This is Elliott Serrano and Jose Melendez coming to you from Dreamland Comics here in Schaumburg, Illinois. Thank you for joining us here yet again on the Comic Culture Warrior YouTube channel. And no, I'm not reading a cue card every time I say that. I've just said that so many times. That's the way it comes out. And why do I do this? Because my mom once watched an episode and she said I did not do an intro in the beginning, and I should do that in the beginning of every intro. I do it for my mom.
Well, see, that's why we can't have these turn into a podcast, because you say it like over and over again.
Over and over again, that's true. There's a lot of stuff I say over and over.
Yeah, but you say that especially over and over.
And there's a lot of stuff I do over and over.
And I think you only need to do that once, at the beginning of
every segment.
No, of the set of segments, not every segment.
No, she was the one who said I should introduce each segment.
I don't think you should. Or maybe cut that in half from here on out for every segment.
Yeah, I say, and we're back.
Right.
Like you will hear me say in the next segment.
All right, whatever. Move on.
All right, moving on. Very good. We've got some things that went on in the comic world, some things that you guys have been asking us about on the boards that we'll get into. Plus, Fanboy D has thrown down the gauntlet. He has thrown down the gauntlet on Wonder Woman. Not only did Fanboy D, it just so happened Brian Bendis, too, made some comments about Wonder Woman. So if you want to hear what we're going to say about that, you'll have to stick around for last rants. But to start off with some reviews, this is going to be kind of a DC-heavy week because a lot of pretty good DC stuff came out. Batman Reborn. Batman what number was that?
Number 687.
687, the first book in the Batman series, the Battle for the Cowl epilogue.
How much do we make about now? I'm thinking about this at issue 700 is when Batman comes back.
That might be a thing.
Yeah.
But this is Judd Winnick essentially doing what his take would have been on Battle for the Cowl. So if you've read this book, in one issue, he explores all the themes that Tony Daniel took 3 issues to cover. And it's funny that this issue came out after the Grant Morrison Batman and Robin.
This
because
should come out first.
This book actually takes place before Batman and Robin. It's, again, kind of these funny, editorial things. Judd Winnick on the writing chores and Ed Benes on the art. You said I should read it, and I know I've said that I'm not a big Judd Winnick fan, and that actually starts back from what I thought was him being mighty preachy on Green Lantern. But
well, those are back in his early days.
Back in his early days,
I think he's matured a little bit as a writer.
And if I've got to go on the Real World. Or was it the Real World where he became very popular so that he can break in the comics? Oh. Anyway, beyond that, Judd Winnick as a writer, I read this issue, and I must say it was a very well-written book. Mm-hmm. Again, exploring all the themes and drama of Battle for the Cowl, doing it much more competently than Mr. Daniel did. But mind you, again, Tony Daniel was given a story and was told, you've got to do this, and he was given the story and the motivations and so on.
And Winnick was the one originally who was going to be assigned to reboot Batman.
Exactly. And you can see, and this is kind of sad, because you read this and you go, wow, if Judd Winnick had written Battle for the Cowl, I think Battle for the Cowl, in my estimation, it would have appealed a lot more to me.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And this issue, you had mentioned that this kind of glosses over stuff that happened in Battle for the Cowl.
Right.
And, which I'm like, that's fine. And when we talked about the Grant Morrison Batman and Robin, it was kind of like that story should have been told instead of Battle for the Cowl also. And maybe what's happening, these books don't really even refer to Battle for the Cowl. Like, nothing that happened. So it was a point in the series.
Right.
It just didn't need to be done. And these are the books that should have just come out instead of Battle for the Cowl. Just start up the story like this.
Or do Battle for the Cowl much more competently.
With Judd Winnick writing it.
Have it fit in with what's going on in the Batman books. Because even with this, and it's funny that even knowing that Judd Winnick essentially wrote the plot for Battle for the Cowl, that Tony Daniel took over, I don't. Is it me or is it intentional that Judd Winnick ignores one of the huge plot points of Battle for the Cowl, which is everyone in Gotham knows Batman's dead. Mm-hmm. In this Batman issue, Nightwing comes to the rest of the Justice League and says no one must know that Batman is dead, which makes total sense.
Exactly. That was one of the things that we were railing about on that stupid Battle for the Cowl shit. Yeah, because no one should know that Batman is dead, and I like the way that was handled in here, and it all makes sense. It's all common sense, really.
So,
but there's also like there's this cool flashback between with Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson when he was Robin. You know, kind of showing a playfulness between the two of them. And then there's these really good like heartfelt scenes in here where was it Superman? They ask Alfred, "Is he okay?" Where is it exactly? Superman asks Alfred. He's like, "Are you all right?" And he's like, "Am I all right?" He's like, "No, sir, I'm not. My son just died."
Yes.
And I was like, "Oh man!"
Yeah, those great character moments. Which I give Judd Winnick his props for that. That it seems like this is a character that he has a really good feel for the relationships and how they all interacted, which is, again, another reason why I really wish he had done Battle for the Cowl, because I think he would have handled those motivations a lot better and how the characters would have interacted. And again, what's really getting me even more, for this being a quote-unquote epilogue, this seems to take place more in the middle of Battle for the Cowl, because at the end of Battle for the Cowl, Dick has already decided to be Batman, and here we're back to him doubting it again.
Well, that's just, I think, Tony Daniels' ineptitude of just being able to write. Because, I totally. It's like those last 2 pages never happened. Mm-hmm. And actually, this is what should have happened. But I mean, after that whole Alfred line, you have this 2 pages of Dick Grayson talking to Alfred about I wasn't ready to lose him.
Right. That is a great line. That is a great line. Yes.
Just the right. It is so well done.
It is well done, but also on the other hand,
and again, this shouldn't have come out 4 months after. Right. This should have right away,
right after,
and the fans should have gotten this book, and they should have read it, and there should have been some heartfelt loss for Batman. But that just didn't happen.
It's not because I was going to say it's kind of sadistic because we all know Batman's really not dead. We know that he is lost in time somewhere. Dan DiDio insisted that they put that in the end of Final Crisis. So while the emotions that they're feeling are all the real for them, we as readers know that it's going to ring hollow later on. That they're not, there is no doubt that Batman is alive, which I think is kind of a, some will say is a misstep on DC's part, and others will say, you know what, you're going to bring back Batman anyway, so why not just let people know that from the get-go?
And just because I know someone will probably leave a comment about this, we're not going to review it because it wasn't very good, in my opinion. But Red Robin #1 came out, and that's Tim Drake's story.
Right.
And Tim Drake in there believes that Batman is still alive because but it's one of those things where maybe we should have reviewed it, but there were some parts in it that I liked. I didn't like the art and the writing overall. It was kind of sloppy, but there were moments in there, like the moment that Tim Drake walks into the Batcave and he sees Damian there in the Robin costume and sees that he's already been replaced and doesn't feel like he has a place there anymore with them. But he believes that Batman is still alive, but it's one of those things that he doesn't know if he's going insane. Because he's just not giving into the fact that that's what reality is.
Yeah, but Tim is also a way better detective. I mean, if anything's been shown, is that Tim has a very analytical mind.
Right. But anyway, getting back to this.
But getting back to this too, and I forget that Winnick did have that run on Titans too, and he does know the classic, the Titan characters, Nightwing being one of them. He knows them very well. So. Again, I know I've said that I'm not the biggest Winnick fan, but so far, Winnick is doing a very admirable job with these characters, and I'll just say, hey, props to the guy. He's doing a great job.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I didn't know how it was going to be, how they were going to how the Batman books were going to get their shit back together after Battle for the Cowl. But so far,
they've just ignored Battle for the Cowl,
which is the best possible thing. And we should all just ignore it that it ever happened. But it just I don't know. I'm glad that these books are coming out now, and I can like Batman again, even though it's not Bruce Wayne. But the books are just really, really well done.
Oh, it's really well done. I agree. All right, well,
the Paul Dini one comes out next week, so we might review that one too.
Okay. Let's end the segment on that, and when we come back, we have another DC book to talk about. See you then.